Hi friends, it's Catherine. Welcome to Poughkeepsie Farm Project, where we grow over 200,000 pounds of produce a year for our community. Today we're going to do a very special tour because it's September and we grow year-round here in Poughkeepsie, New York, but there's a lot of things going on right now. So do you think you know what grows here in Poughkeepsie? Let's go to the fields and find out. So come on over, friends. Right now we're in a special section that's full of perennial plants. Perennials are plants that we only plant once and then they come back every year after the winter, so the cold doesn't damage them. And that includes a lot of really exciting things like this fruit here. If you recognize that, that is a beautiful raspberry. And here in New York we can grow raspberries, and we also have blueberries, grapes, strawberries, and lots of other fruit trees like New York apples and peaches and pears. So not only are they delicious, but they also serve an important role on our farm. And that role is that they create this beautiful environment for nature. So they have deep roots and we don't have to water them as much. And they also are good environment for bugs like ladybugs that really help our farm plants by eating other pests. So we have one beautiful plant here that might look like a weed, but it's a special weed called milkweed. And it's special because it's the only plant that can feed the babies of monarch butterflies. So they lay their eggs on here and then they are able to fly all the way back to Mexico at the end of the season. So this part right here is actually the part that the seeds come out of. It's called the pod. And so right now that's getting ready and they're gonna pop out and look like little dandelions that float through the air. And so that and other plants get to coexist with these perennials because we don't till this soil every year. So that's one really important reason why we have this large section of perennials. So we also grow flowers on our farm, and we grow the flowers for our members to pick and enjoy their beauty, but we also grow them to attract beneficial animals. Beneficial means good for our crops. So beneficial animals can be birds or bees and butterflies, and they're good because they eat pests, but they also play an important role as pollinators. So pollination is when an animal takes pollen from one flower to another. And that's how all of our fruits and vegetables grow into fruits and vegetables. So we enjoy these beautiful flowers and we also plant them for a purpose. So we're here with another perennial plant. This is rhubarb. And so far we've looked at fruits and flowers. But what part of the plant do you think you eat with this rhubarb? Is it the beautiful green leaf? Is it the roots underground? Or is it this red stem? If you said stem, then you'd be right. The stems are sour and you can cut them up and put them into a delicious strawberry rhubarb pie, or you can make our very favorite recipe, which is to put this into a sour smoothie. So we have 4 seasons here in New York, and you harvest the rhubarb in spring. There's also winter when it's really cold, spring when things start blooming, summer when there's lots to harvest, and then fall when things start to die back and the leaves start to fall. But in other parts of the world, it might stay warm all year long. So if you're wondering why we don't grow bananas, it's because those are tropical fruits, and that's because they grow in the tropics. So maybe take a second, think about your favorite fruit, and then Google where it comes from. So now I'm in a part of the farm that I really love, and it's called our Pick Your Own section. So at the farm we have members who are part of our community-supported agriculture, and they get to come to the farm and pick some things that are interesting that they don't get in their share. But they're members because they help pay in at the beginning of the season for what we need to grow, and then they get a box of veggies every week. So there's a few different things that they're able to pick right now. This one is called a lunchbox pepper because it's the perfect size to fit in your lunchbox. And it turns from green to ripe when it's orange, yellow, or red, depending on the variety. So we're gonna pick some of those. And hey Tanya, what are you picking over there?
Hi, I'm picking tomatillos and cherry tomatoes.
Beautiful, those look so good. This is gonna be our harvest for the day. So friends, harvest means when you are picking something you're harvesting, or it can be what you picked that day. And we also have another way we get food to the community here, which we call community harvest. And that's when we invite our students and their families to come out from Poughkeepsie to the farm, harvest things, and then bring that food back home and out to the community. Hey farmers, what are you harvesting today?
Today we're harvesting Joy Choy.
Beautiful. So friends, Joy Choy is like bok choy. It's an Asian green, and we grow it in the summer and fall, right?
Yes.
Cool, thanks so much for sharing.
Of course.
Hey Jamie,
Hey Catherine.
can you tell us about some things that grow in the fall?
Well, actually I'm picking some beautiful kale right now. Kale's one of the great crops to harvest in the fall because it actually gets sweeter after the frost, makes some of those sugars come out, so it's really delicious. And kale's actually part of the cabbage family. So we have a bunch of other crops here that are also in the cabbage family, including cabbage, and also some collard greens and other tasty things like kohlrabi. And one of the exciting things about kale that we did this year, actually over in our seed garden, which you'll get to visit in a little while, is we actually grew kale to save for seed. So you don't see any seeds here now, but if we left these in the ground and then waited until the spring, they would produce flowers, and then those flowers would produce seeds, and then we can collect them for seeds for the following year. Let's visit some other crops in the farm.
Okay friends, so now we're in the education garden section of the farm, and we're starting out in our meditation herbal garden. So in this part of the farm we grow herbs and we also farm seeds, but our meditation garden steward, Miss Lala, is going to tell us about this section of the garden.
Hello friends, welcome to the meditation garden. I'm so excited for you to be here with me. You know why we call it the meditation garden? Because we use the time here to focus and relax our bodies and really take in and ponder what we're growing. So take a look. We have a bunch of herbs that we grow for culinary purposes, that's cooking, and then also medicinal purposes, that's medicine for our body. So come on in and take a look at what we're growing. We have basils that we grow, 4 different kinds. This year we've grown purple basil, a holy basil, or called tulsi, and we also have grown lemon basil and Thai basil. Isn't that exciting? I also want to show you our medicinal herbs. This is lemongrass, lemon verbena, lemon balm, and anise hyssop. This beautiful flower is in the mint family. Know how we can tell? Because it has a square stem. And these beautiful purple flowers are edible. We like to use these herbs for our tea. Here, these beautiful flowers are called calendula flowers. We grow them here in this space in the meditation garden. They're medicinal herbs, meaning they're medicine for our bodies. We dry them out after we harvest them in this beautiful oil to make a wonderful healing salve. We make salves and lip balms. Next up, we're gonna have Jamie. She's gonna introduce our seed saving garden.
Hey Jamie,
Hey Catherine.
could you tell us all a little bit about what we're growing in this garden?
Oh, sure. So here in this garden, this is actually our seed garden, and we are growing crops for seed instead of just for food. So right now I'm taking a look at this African eggplant, and it has, when it's ready for seed, it actually gets to this beautiful orange color. And one of the reasons we're growing this crop in particular, and a bunch of the other crops here, is because we wanted to choose crops that are important to our community and make sure that both the food and the seeds are available for folks who might want to grow them. I'm going to show you a little bit about the okra that we have growing over here. So this is a beautiful okra plant, and in it you can see the okra pod. I'm going to move some of these leaves out of the way. So these okra pods are huge, and we let them get much bigger than they would get if we were going to eat them. If we were going to eat them, we'd probably let them get maybe around this big, but because we're going to save seeds from them, we're going to let them dry out on the plant, and then we're going to harvest them and take out the seeds, and then the seeds will be dried and we'll be able to grow new crops of okra with them for future years. Next, I want to show you some other crops that we have growing a little bit further back. So here are some other crops that we have that we're growing for seed. Right here we have tomatoes. We have collard greens next. And after that, we have some corn. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about a couple of those crops over here. So, this is the Paul Robeson tomato. It's an absolutely delicious tomato that we are growing for seed saving. And I just want to show you a little bit inside of the tomato. So right here, we have an open tomato, and you can see all the seeds. You can just take them and squeeze them out, or dip your fingers in, and those are your tomato seeds. Another crop we have that you just saw on the plant is this corn right here. And this looks a little different from corn you might have seen before. This is actually a pink popping corn. And you can take these off of the cob and pop them, or you can take them off the cob and save them to plant next year. The last one I want to show you is actually our kale seed. Now, we looked at kale out in the farm fields, but these are the seeds that we saved from the kale we grew last year. And we're going to be able to plant these and also share these with our community. The next thing I want to tell you about is this garden that I am sitting in right now. So you can see all these different plants back here. We are growing these plants for an additional different purpose. These plants are part of our dye garden, and so we're growing them to make dyes in order to dye fabric. One of the crops is indigo, and you can dye fabric this beautiful blue color. These flowers here, along with several of the other flowers you see, actually make a yellow color. And we're really excited to be able to be growing crops for eating, for seed saving, and for making dyes. So Catherine's here in the greenhouse. Let's see what she's working on.
Hey guys! So welcome to the greenhouse, and if you look around, it's not green or a house. So what do we do here? Well, this is where it all starts. Every year our farm crew plants millions of seeds, and they start them in these little trays because it's nice and warm and safe in here, and it has everything that a baby plant needs. It's got lots of sunshine, lots of warmth, and it's very easy to water all of these things. So these are our fall crops that are going to be going in the ground soon. So we have a whole different type of lettuce here, all types of varieties. We've got onions, we've got spinach, and then we've got these trays that just got planted. So when you first start out, this is how it all works. You take these trays that come in all different sizes, you fill them with potting soil, which is just a fancy dirt that's really good for the seeds, and then you put your seeds in these little pockets and you take care of them until they're ready to go outside. It's also a really great place to cure our onions because it's really warm and dry, and it lets them build up a nice skin so that they can store really well in the fridge. So that's what's going on here. And then when they're all ready, they'll go outside and start adjusting and head to our high tunnels, which is where we're going next. So friends, this is our high tunnel, and wow, look at how tall these plants are. Do you recognize these? If we look close, that is a ripe tomato right there. And the reason that they're so big is because these high tunnels function like a greenhouse that we were just in. So they keep things extra warm, and that allows us to even plant in here in the winter. So plants have their favorite seasons, just like we do. So we're able to still plant some hardy greens in here in the winter, but in the summer, we get a head start on our tomatoes, and they can get way bigger and way taller than any of the tomatoes in the field. So these plants just stay beautiful and give us so much all summer long growing in these tunnels. And another really cool thing about the tunnels, you can look down here, instead of getting water from the rain coming out of the sky, they use these drip irrigation lines that just give water right to the roots. So that keeps them healthier than everything out in the field. Oh, hey Sonia Joy.
Hey Catherine.
So we're learning about some different things we grow here. We were wondering if you could teach us a little bit about something new. So we've been learning about perennials. Could you teach us about annuals?
Sure. Yeah, there's annual plants right here actually. Annuals are plants that grow on the farm just once each year, and these potatoes are annuals. So the potatoes You see here our red skin potatoes, gold potatoes, and we even grow purple potatoes on the farm. The potato is a tuber, meaning it grows under the ground. And the farmers who harvest these potatoes harvest one big harvest every year. Potatoes were originally from South America. In Peru, the indigenous peoples of the Andes Mountains grow over 4,000 varieties of potatoes. Isn't that amazing? Some of the other root vegetables that grow on the farm, other plants that grow under the ground, are carrots and beets, and we grow lots and lots of beautiful colors and varieties of carrots and beets as well. PFP is located on the original homelands of the Munsee, Lenape, and Mohican peoples. So every time we enjoy the fresh air, experience the wildlife, and eat food from this place, we are receiving the benefit of their stewardship. Because without these peoples who took care of the land for thousands of years, they would have not cultivated the soils or taken care of the seeds that we are using to now grow vegetables, many of which we still eat today. So we give our gratitude and our thanks, and we encourage you to learn more about the history of the indigenous peoples where you live.
So friends, we're almost done with our tour today, and we're at somewhere very important. You may have heard us talk about it before in class. It's called our compost pile. So what is compost? Compost is plant food. You can see they like it so much these tomatoes are growing right out of it. And so how do we make it? Well, you can add lots of food scraps. So you can see these are vegetables that came out of the farm fields, or you could add banana peels, apple cores, things you don't eat. We also get truckloads of wood chips from trees that get cut down, grass clippings, and even the leaves that fall in the autumn. So how does that happen? Well, it has to do with what lives here. And if you get close, you can see one of our helpers here. This little worm and the other bugs that live in the compost pile help break it down. They're like recyclers, so they turn all of those food scraps and leaves into beautiful, rich compost that gives us healthy soil, and that helps us farm with nature. So it's good for our community and the animals that live here when we add this instead of fertilizer to our soil. So friends, the last step on the farm tour is getting the food out to the community. So we wash and pack that food and we bring it out to the city for people to enjoy. But another thing we love to do is to cook and eat together here at the farm.
You can find recipes and information about the Harvest of the Month vegetables on our website, farmproject.org.
Thanks for visiting the farm with us today.
Remember, take care of yourselves, take care of your plants, and take care of each other.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.
C2, take 3, action!